Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again, here to show you guys Inkbound. Inkbound is a game that's about to enter early access that I really want to share with everybody on my channel. I want to share it with everybody because I'm really excited for it. I should probably take the time to state right now that I did receive a free copy of the game. However, this is not a paid promotion. I am doing all of this of my own volition and wanting the game to succeed. Inkbound is a tactical, turn-based roguelike by Shiny Shoe, the people who brought you Monster Train. In the world of Inkbound, stories have such power that they are able to actually manifest worlds in life, but worlds are slowly becoming corrupted and torn apart, and so it's up to the Inkbound in order to save the day. However, in Inkbound, we are not the Inkbound. In fact, we are a species that's referred to in-game as a needless, which is just a barely sentient collection of primordial ink that, due to fate, luck, or some sort of hopefully benevolent ordainment, has been bestowed upon with a quill, which are the familiars of these worlds, and by being bound to this quill, we are able to take form of aspects of great warriors. The first thing that you are tasked with is choosing a class and creating your character. Do not fret though, because both of these things can easily be changed while in the game hub. The character creation allows you to create your character's head with a variety of different decals, multiple layers, color options, rotating, so you should be able to make your Spider-Man knockoff / nightmare fuel with ease. The classes available in the game are Magma Miner, a melee frontline powerhouse that specializes in constantly being aggressive and gaining increased damage the more that it's able to stay on the offensive. It has great synergies with just raw damage and burn and the ability to make money. Moss Cloak, a ranged damage dealer that ignores defense in order to deal inordinate amounts of damage. It collects a resource called Shuriken that it is able to unleash in a deadly payload, especially when combined with its exclusive Mark skill that allows enemies to take increased damage. The Weaver is a unique mage class that has to leverage threads that it weaves on enemies in order to also utilize their other skills, with the benefit of having access to very good AoE damage and single target damage, as well as being able to specialize in a variety of status ailments. And while not available initially, there are also two other classes which you unlock, including the Clairvoyant, who utilizes their Shard Globe and its AoE in order to buff allies with auras with hindering auras and status effects while waiting for large payout attacks. And the Obelisk, a frontline juggernaut who utilizes their massive AoE skills and high damage in order to wait for the right time to crush their opponents. After a brief initial tutorial, you will be invited into the hub world, where you will be able to gain quests and do your part in the world. Your role in the world of Inkbound is actually to combat villains that have made their way into these stories and are slowly corrupting and tearing them apart. Each time you play Inkbound, you will be able to select a villain that you wish to fight, and they will be accompanied by an assigned random run quest, which when completed gives you the reward of a choice of any of 3 legendary items, some of the most powerful items in the game. Your goal in Inkbound is over the course of 2 acts or books to get strong enough to actually take the villain in the final fight. And we do that by, over the course of the run, collecting items or vestiges, which will impart upon you various effects and or stats and augments. Each of your bindings or skills can have 3 augments, which start very simple as stuff like plus damage or plus status effects, but later on will become more mechanical and build defining. The 2 books that you are going to traverse through before the villain are of your choice, of a random selection, each with their own distinct enemy pool, as well as a shared enemy pool, and each with their own distinct end boss or guardian. And you will traverse books through a series of 3 different sets of combats and events. During the events, you get to choose different things that will help you out, such as completely random events with different choices, being able to visit the trader to buy vestiges or heal, draft from a variety of generic bindings, and collect more augments that are going to further enhance those bindings. And after these 3 sets of combats and events, you will come up against the guardian of the book, which has access to its own mechanics. They will summon minions. Those minions will do different things. They have 2 different phases. During these phases, they will do different things. Fights against the Guardians can generally take multiple turns, much longer than the other fights that you've been fighting thus far. So it's very important to make sure that the choices that you are making up to there are going to prepare you for that specific Guardian. After defeating the Guardian, you will get access to an Ascended Binding, which is the ability to take a random one of your bindings into 2 of 3 different ascensions, which will drastically change how that binding works and is very build defining. Some examples of this is being able to take Mosscloak's Throw and allowing it to ricochet, and the Weaver changing its thin shot into a wide shot for threatening enemies. You will also be awarded with an Epic Augment, which, like the augments before, but are also very build defining. So after book 1, you will also proceed on to book 2, 3 different combats, 3 different events, and at the end you will fight a Guardian, and after defeating the second Guardian, finally we will be able to enter the villain's lair. After defeating the villain, you have staved off the corruption for now, but victory is fleeting. After a run, you will earn account XP for the season that is currently in effect. Since I'm sure that it'll be a divisive topic, I have elected to talk about the season pass in a separate video. In the hub world between runs, you will be able to talk with different NPCs and gain quests and turn in quests in order to unlock different vestiges that you will be able to utilize in future runs. You're going to have a lot of quests, but thankfully if you get a little bit lost or overwhelmed, you can always track a single quest. You can also gain more season XP by completing milestones, as well as dailies, both singular and collaborative, which can be performed in parties or solo. There are also aspect mastery quests, specific to each class, which is generally just trying out everything that that class has to offer, and this will allow you to unlock some other cosmetics, as well as some fancy vestiges that only that class can use. If choring is too boring for you, you can also elect to do ranked runs, which is similar to Slay the Spire Ascensions, where as you raise in rank, you will have to overcome more and more difficulty modifiers that are both numerical and mechanical. Each book you choose is also going to have an associated run modifier with it that is randomly assigned that will affect the entirety of the run, so choose wisely. However, you will be compensated for taking some of the harder ones. But you don't have to go it alone. Inkbound is up to 4 players, so you can play with up to 3 either complete strangers or friends by either inviting through Steam or finding public parties. Keep in mind that with the amount of players, enemy difficulty is also going to scale. Also keep in mind that there is no voting system, so everybody is going to have to agree on where to go. And even though that there's a save restore feature in single player, that is currently not available in multiplayer, so plan your time accordingly. It is also important to note that you will be able to play with friends regardless of their rank, class, or any vestiges that they have unlocked. The run quest that you choose at the start of the match will scale to the amount of players. That said, everybody is progressing, helping the team progress towards it at the same time, and so everyone will unlock their legendary vestiges should it be completed. However, you are able to freely exchange items or vestiges with other players. Playing in co-op allows you to implement a wide variety of strategies. For instance, someone can build all damage, while someone can build all support or even heal. Or they can get a bunch of debuffs that allows one person to scale their damage and deal incredible single target damage and take out large groups of enemies. It's also notable that direct targeted enemies only attack the person who was closest to them at the start of turn. However, if you deal damage, you can redirect that enemy to attack you instead, which allows you to tank. Do keep in mind though that although you're gaining all of this tactical depth, it is going to make the game probably take significantly longer, whereas a normal run would take around 1 hour depending on exactly how well you're doing. Co-op runs can take easily 1.5 to 2 hours depending on how well they're doing. Overall, I'm very excited to start playing Inkbound on the channel. Hope to see a lot of you guys in there as well. If you want to pick up Inkbound for yourself, be sure to go down to their Steam page, which I will have linked below. If the video helped you make your purchase or left you with questions, be sure to leave those down in the comments below, as well as any other feedback you might have. And until next time, I'll catch you guys around.